Okay, I think we are live. Fantastic. Okay, so this is a demo video of Parvaeres, which is a project that we did for the past 3 months together with the Zurich University of Applied Sciences. And my name is Riccardo Cefalà, and we also have Piyush from the Zurich University of Applied Sciences. This project is part of a collaboration between Container Solutions and the university in the framework of the InnoSwiss, which is a project framework that tries to foster the collaboration between the academic and the business world. So Parvaeres is an attempt to solve the onboarding problem for Kubernetes and GitOps project. What we wanted to do is radically simplify GitOps adoption and Kubernetes deployment. And for this, we built a little POC that we can demo today. And Piyush will take it from here for the actual demo.
Thank you, Ricardo. So I hope you are able to see the architecture screen. I will briefly present the key elements of the architecture, and then Ricardo will go and will take over and explain the backend systems, and then I will come back again and then demonstrate the user interface. So we really wanted Parvaeres to be a very, very simple user experience for end users to deploy their the Kubernetes applications. We just wanted them to have a very simple front end, and all the complexity of resource provisioning, setting up the network, setting up of all the security policies are hidden from them by the backend services. So here in the architecture, what you see is a representation for a that simple user interface. Then there is an API, a Parvaeres API server, which works in conjunction with a GitOps enabler framework called Argo CD. And GitOps, the Parvaeres API server and Argo CD are basically the building blocks which the UI interacts with to enable the super simple user experience for the end users for the deployment of their Kubernetes applications. Let's hear from Ricardo on the interesting bits concerning the API server.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a very simple API that gets the information from the form that you see on the left. And this information is translated into something that Argo CD can understand and deploy. And essentially, all we do is send a confirmation email. We use a third-party service called Mailgun, but it's easy to switch with anything else. And only when the user clicks the link sent by email, the application is actually deployed. And in the picture here, there is a relational DB, but actually, in the end, we decided to use exclusively Kubernetes resources to describe the state of the applications. And indeed, the applications they live in the Kubernetes cluster as external resources, applications, Argo CD applications, external resources. For the POC, we used Google Cloud. And additionally, there are several components that also take care of configuring the DNS. So we're using external DNS and Cert Manager. This allows to have HTTPS and proper DNS for some of the components. It's really that simple, and what we want to do is allow people to install this on their own platform and use it as maybe the onboarding gateway for GitOps and their own applications. I think we can go on and show the UI that we built, that also Loredana Moanga from Container Solutions helped us with styling it.
Okay, thank you, Ricardo. Just adding a quick sentence here on the late integration between Parvaeres and the Artifact Observatory, which is another project being run in the Zurich University of Applied Sciences. What MAO Observatory does is it enables analyzing the application manifests, whether they are Helm charts or native Kubernetes manifests, and then do a quick assessment of whether there are any syntactic or semantic errors, but also checks if the constituent container images which are being used in the creation of the distributed application, whether they themselves have any security vulnerability or not. So that component is not yet in the architecture diagram because this was a very late integration in the project, but I will show it in the UI walkthrough.
Yeah, that's great. And also one thing is that there are additional integration possible, right? So we only have a set number for now, but MAO supports additional security checks and eventually, for example, also static code analysis.
Exactly.
And this type of things.
Exactly.
So this is also a little bit a direction that we wanted to give the project, also giving users feedback on their manifests before they are being deployed in a GitOps fashion.
So let me now go ahead and walk you through the user interface. Special thanks go to Loredana because she really did the theming of the UI. Otherwise, if it was left to us, it would have been a completely different looking system. So as you see, really what a Parvaeres user needs to do is to select a Git repo where the Kubernetes application resides. Select the folder where the application manifests are contained, and then provide an email address where the confirmation post deployment is sent for the user to activate the application. The first thing you see is a very simple button called Validate and Deploy Application. When you click that button, what happens is that the UI component is in the backend communicating with the MAO Artifact Observatory service, which is deployed in the university servers. It sends the manifest file as a post request and then waits for a response to come back, which contains the analysis of any security vulnerability which may exist. To make the user experience a bit more meaningful, the UI also allows the person to inspect the actual manifest file before sending the request for deployment to Parvaeres backend systems. So here you see that the application we are trying to deploy is a very simple guestbook application, which has two files, a service file and a deployment file. Here we can inspect how the content of the manifest file looks like. If everything looks okay at this point in time, there is a good chance that the application deployment will succeed. If the user, who is hopefully a Kubernetes application engineer, sees something is not right, then he can still go back and fix it before actually sending the request for deployment. If you click on the validation results, this is the analysis. This is right now the very simple analysis which we get from the MAO artifact observatory. It actually shows you different color-coded analysis. Orange being something is of medium severity. Red means something has a potential of high degree of threat. And this analysis right now is generated through the scan tool integration in the MAO. But as Ricardo was saying, it is possible to also have later on a much more comprehensive analysis made available to the user. Right now, we would ignore the security threats which are being presented from the artifact observatory, and we'll still go ahead and take a check. So just give me a second. You hit the button, deploy application, and now it goes back to the backend service, and the user is told that the application has been created. Mind you, that the application is still not running because we don't want to stress our Kubernetes clusters on Google Compute Engine if the user is not serious. So what happens is an email is sent to the user, and if the user is an authentic user with a valid email inbox, then there is a link that he can click. So let me stop sharing this screen and bring you to the email client. So this is what the automated email looks like from the Parvaeres API server. It gives a link which needs to be clicked to initiate the application deployment process. So I'm going to click the link and stop sharing my email message and go back to my browser. There's a lot of screen switching happening here. So now, when you click the link in the email, the application deployment process gets triggered, and the status has changed from no status to pending. So if I just refresh the screen, you now see that the application has been deployed. Once the application is deployed, then you also have access to the application log files, as well as if there is any public URL which is being exposed that can be accessible here also. So if I just click on this, then you see that my application is up and running. If you want to see the log files, you can simply click on the log link, and you can get whatever is the state of the logs at that point in time. So this is pretty much it. There is a comprehensive REST API, which is also documented quite nicely using the Swagger version 3. And once you are done with the application, if you want to delete it, you can simply click this link here under management row, and it asks you whether you are sure to delete the application or not. Simply click OK, and then the application has been deleted. If I go back and request the application status again, using that link, you can now be sure that the application doesn't exist because it has been deleted. So let me stop the demo here, because this is how simple it is to work with Parvaeres. I am going to share my screen one more time because I want to show you how easy is it for you as a potential community collaborator to go to actually work with us. So the entire Parvaeres code base has been released as open source, and you should be able to access the entire code base on GitHub. I will give the handle back to Ricardo. Maybe he can speak a bit about the GitHub collection of repositories and how someone from the community could contribute back.
Yes, absolutely. So we have a separate organization on GitHub, and Parvaeres is only two components: the server and the UI. Eventually, things are going to change. I mean, we are really just at the beginning of the project, so the infra one that you see at the top is the repository that drives the POC. So don't worry about that. It's as a private repository. The reason it's there is it just contains the infrastructure as code components to run the POC. Maybe we can open the server one, and in there should be a contributing document that tells you how to run the project locally in a K8s cluster, and how to run tests and generate the API and interact with the local copy. Additionally, you can, next to this, you can deploy the UI as well. So once you deploy the server, it also comes with an Argo CD installation, and the UI component then can be installed on top of this. Technically, you don't even need the UI when you are developing, because you can already interact with the API directly. However, maybe the goal is to actually work on the UI, which is a Revel application. So Revel is a Go framework for web applications, which makes the interaction extremely simple. Many things can be improved. There is a certain amount of tests. Everything is also driven by a GitHub action and CI/CDs. So if you want to improve things in Parvaeres server, there are a few issues that are ready to be picked up. So yeah, I think going forward is going to be a fun project, and this is really just the beginning.
Absolutely. If you want to try out certain examples, there is also Parvaeres examples folder, which have different applications, different combination of services to try out. That will also form a very solid basis for you to create your own Kubernetes manifests somewhere and try it out over Parvaeres UI, or even using the API service.
Yeah, I think it's important to say that for now so Parvaeres supports only pure Kubernetes manifests and also only public repositories. But of course, the functionality in the backend, like Argo CD, supports Helm, Kubernetes, Customize, other exotic stuff, and also private repositories, but the functionality is not there. Additionally, each application is deployed in its own namespace, Kubernetes namespace, and there is a lot of work that should be done to ensure isolation. Kubernetes launched hierarchical namespaces, or we can enforce isolation with other webhooks and or even experiment with cool distributions like Weaveworks Firecube, which is based on Firecracker, So there is a really many things that can be are very cool from the technology perspective, but they can have a serious impact on simplifying adoption of cloud native technologies like Kubernetes and GitOps.
So with that, I think we have come to an end of our summary of Parvaeres InnoCheck small project we did together. It was, for us, a very fun experience. And I hope that you guys in the community will have a fun time picking up the project also and contributing meaningful code snippets back.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening, and have a wonderful time.
Thank you. And I'm going to stop recording now.